Let me tell you the exciting story about a moving contract that I officially landed just this morning. Just a couple hours ago, I got back from this facility. So this contract I landed will net me at least $72,960 a year in revenue. Now, how I got this contract for my company is because I was looking for a warehouse back in January for this very business. And as I was looking around, I looked at 10 to 12 different warehouses. One of these warehouses had a business in it that was moving, and they manufacture and deliver items with that business. Now, I was meeting with the manager of that business, walking through the facility, just kind of getting the specifics, how big it is, the office space, things like that. And I asked them, hey, do you guys do your deliveries in-house, or do you guys hire people to do your deliveries? How exactly does that work? Because whenever I'm talking to someone who could potentially use a moving or delivery service, I like to kind of pry a little bit and see, is there something I can do there to help with the operations or kind of push my business a little bit further? So I asked them about that, and they talked about how they do some deliveries in-house, but majority they hire a third party. And I was like, well, I'm a moving company, and I can absolutely help you with any deliveries you might need if you have any overflow or anything like that. That's kind of how I like to work my way into these things, to just offer, like, I'm not trying to step on anyone's toes, but if you ever have like extra work coming in the door that you can't handle, anything like that your normal service provider can't do, feel free to give us a call. We'll be happy to do any deliveries for you. And he was like, yeah, awesome. Let me give you the warehouse manager's info, and here's my info, and we'll be in touch. Shoot me an email with your information. So that meeting ended. I didn't end up getting that warehouse because they needed to move out later than the time that I needed a warehouse, but it was actually a really nice building. And also there was the credibility built in that, hey, I was looking at getting a warehouse that, was this big 6,000 square foot thing. So they knew, like, hey, I'm a company that isn't just like this fly by night thing. We're actually, legit enough to be able to afford a facility like that. So I think there was some built-in credibility there. So I went back to my office the next day. I followed up with both of those people, gave them some information about our company, and just said, I'd be happy to do any deliveries. And I didn't hear anything back. And then a couple weeks later, I sent another email just saying, hey, just following up. If you ever need help with any deliveries, just let me know. If there's anything I need to do to get that set up, just let me know. Again, nothing. So at that point I was like, they either had it figured out, they're slower, they don't need my services, whatever. You move on with your life. You can't attach too much on one deal. You have to just always be spreading things out and looking for additional deals, because things fail all the time. So now zoom forward about 2 weeks ago, which would be 10 months later, I get an email from the manager who was like, sorry, I never reached back out to you. We are still in need of some delivery services. Are you willing to help us out? And I was like, yeah, sure. We'll always take on some extra work if need be. And, I expected pretty small. I had pretty low expectations, with this delivery, maybe 1 or 2 small deliveries a week, or maybe even a month, here and there. We just deliver their product to a customer. I didn't expect much. So I asked them, what the expectations were with us doing deliveries. And they said, you'd be looking at about 2 days a week. And I was like, so, what does that mean? Is that like one delivery 2 days a week? And he's like, no, that's 2 full days a week, a full sheet of deliveries. And I was like, oh, okay, that's totally different. 2 full days a week, keeping a truck busy 2 days a week adds up pretty significantly. So what I needed to do at that point was send over my pricing, what they can expect from us, my insurance, and make sure everything was legitimate. That's another thing here. If you're not completely insured, you're really not going to get contracts like this, because any company with a lot of volume is going to make sure that you have all your ducks in a row, so they're not liable for any messes that you might cause. So I sent all that over. I sent pricing over that scaled so that it was worth it at any level. Basically, if it was one small delivery in a day, it would be no difference in price from us just doing one small move in a day for a customer. But the longer the day got and the more frequent they used us, it got a little bit cheaper. So to where if it was like a full day, they'd be looking at about 15% cheaper than our normal rates were. So it kind of gives them the incentive to use us more and for longer each day, was the way I was looking at it. They were happy with how I did that pricing, and they actually even cited that the company that they currently use had a little bit of confusing pricing where that was a combination of like number of stops and mileage and weight of the items. It was just kind of confusing. So this was a more streamlined, easier process. And also on my end, I would rather have simple pricing just so it's easy for me to delegate to my office staff and to make it more understandable. So we went with that simple pricing route, and basically it worked out to those 2 days a week. It would be between $700 and $800 a day on average, but that could vary pretty greatly depending on if it was an extra long drive or a couple extra deliveries. It could be longer or shorter, but that would be about the average size each day. So I sent over all that information, and then they okayed it. And the way I decided to differentiate myself, both to look good to that business who is doing deliveries and to make my life easier in the future, I asked to go and do a site visit at their new warehouse and talk to the delivery manager. So my goal here was to build a small relationship with the person who is facilitating the warehouse, in charge of all the deliveries and the third-party vendors, and build a step-by-step that's like foolproof for my guys to come in and be able to pick up deliveries and drop off to their customers, so we're able to do so without bothering that company as much as possible. Like, I want them to know, like, if they hire Skinny Went Moving to do this delivery this day, they don't have to worry about anything because our guys are going to be able to come in, do everything that's needed, not have to cause any problems, not have to ask questions that are unnecessary, and just get it done. So I went through with the warehouse manager and asked with a notebook and literally asked every question I could possibly think of, and was just like, give me every detail step by step from, guys pulling up to this door to leaving the door and going to the customer's house, so I can build a step by step. That way we don't have to bother you in the future with any of these questions, and we'll just have everything done on our end. So we walked through, took pictures of things, and I was just thinking of it like, I like to think in terms of how would a large company do this, and they would streamline the process to make it as simple and as delegatable as possible. So this way I can just hand this step by step to any driver of mine and they can figure it out. And I think the delivery manager, the warehouse manager at this facility really appreciate that. And also, it's thinking in terms of, what does that warehouse manager want? He wants a company who can come in, do this, and not cause any problems. So we did all that, and I built this step by step, and I sent it over to him just to confirm, hey, are all these steps correct? Does everything look good to you? And, it was good to go. So we were working through the numbers and the delivery expectations. So we're starting with that 2 delivery days per week, and that comes out to the $72,960 a year in that contract, which that has the room to grow substantially, because that is with us as the number 2 delivery partner with them. So if there's ever any issues with the number 1 person, that figure would actually multiply by about 5 because they handle much more deliveries. So on that end, that might happen. It could just be a matter of time. If we offer an amazing delivery service, we might pick that up, and we might be making $400,000 a year in revenue from this. So from that contract, I can reasonably expect $18,000 a year in profit, bare minimum. Basically, as long as we don't mess anything up, that's when I can expect. If things get better, that could multiply by 4 or 5. So I'm really excited about this, and this is something that I've really been wanting to focus on getting more contracts, because the moving industry is tough in that it changes from season to season. You don't have customers that you're moving frequently, like once a week, or more regularly than once a year at the very most. So I'm really excited about this, and just having a more and more stable operation with just expectations that I can fill the driver's hours, and it's just much easier to plan if you have a predictable amount of money coming in every month. And that's something I've really been working on, both with getting contracts, getting solid referral sources, and building up the storage side of my business. So also, if you are interested in owning or running a moving company, maybe you own one already and you want to grow it, or you're interested in the success that I've had and you want to potentially start your own moving company, I've actually been putting together a huge comprehensive course on how to start and effectively run a profitable moving company. It's not finished quite yet, but I'll have a link in the description that'll allow you to sign up for notifications there. And I'm really proud of this. I think it's going to be pretty awesome. So feel free to sign up if you're interested in that. And as always, I'd like to thank you for watching, and I hope you have a profitable day.